Update for you now on a fast-moving brush fire that's burning in Pocatello. The so-called Gap Fire started around 2 this afternoon on the north side of I-15 in the Portneuf Gap, right next to Century High School. KPVI News that works for you reporter Jason Borba has been talking with BLM officials at the scene all day. He joins us now live from their base camp at Century High School with the details. Jason.
Thank you, Matt. I know it's hard to see right now, but this Gap Fire is still burning very slowly behind me. It's burned over 300 acres of land, according to the BLM, and now it's kind of slowed down a lot since this wind has gone down. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but BLM officials and Bannock County both say it could have been started by some people doing target practice up in the mountains.
Fire season has started.
The Gap Fire could be seen from miles away as flames shot up into the air and the smoke was carried throughout the valley. And it was a fire that caught some people off guard.
Especially seeing how what a winter we had. I personally didn't think we were going to get a fire this large this early.
The fire spread quickly across and over the mountainside as changing wind conditions and speeds made it difficult for fire crews from the BLM, Forest Service, and Pocatello Valley to combat the blaze.
The wind just doesn't cooperate at all. We constantly have to shift techniques and change routes.
The wind wasn't the only thing making it difficult for crews to combat the fire. The terrain in the area made it nearly impossible for engines and dozers to get close enough to the fire because of the steep and rocky ground.
The fire engines can only climb so much, and this stuff is way past that, so we have to drive back down and find another route.
Despite the conditions, about 60 hand crews, 2 planes, multiple fire engines, and dozers were all used to help contain the Gap Fire. BLM officials want people to be fire smart when they go onto public lands to help avoid fires like this.
You need to take some precautions. It's really important that if it's hot and dry, windy day, it's probably not a great shooting day. Maybe go to a range somewhere with more dirt and gravel.
Now, the BLM has set up a base camp here at Century High School. Their trucks are pulling in as I speak, as they continue to mop up this Gap Fire, and they're going to continue monitoring it for the next couple days. And the BLM also tells me at this time there are no structures in danger.